Let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see, let me see. Greetings, family. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, everyone is doing all right. In case you didn't know, I am Professor Griff, and this is On the Masters right here on Black Power Media Reloaded. Shout out to Kalanji. Kalanji is out there in the world taking care of some serious business, but I'll let him tell you that on his program. All right. Doc, what's good with you, man? Hopefully all is well. All right. So today we're going to be talking about Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, formerly known as Upper Volta. All right. If you do not know the history and you do not know what's going on in the world on a global international level or scale, all right, I suggest, I don't know what to tell you to do. I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful and say get a damn life, but be a little bit more awake and aware and find out what's going on in the world with our people. But I forgot, a lot of y'all are ill-informed FBAs and DEAs and FBI and IRS and some other alphabet boys. I don't know. Y'all don't even like your own people. Y'all don't like Africans. Y'all don't like yourselves. You understand what I'm saying? So I suggest you hit the reset button and begin to rethink this thing. All right. And I kept telling you time after time after time, whether it's personally in text message or in person or on this platform or other platforms. We are all the same people. Those are our people. Plain and simple. Our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean islands and other places. Those are our people. All right. We are family. All right. Same boat. We just got dropped off at different destinations. Same tree, different branches. That's all. So let's dive into this subject real quick after we do the check-in and see where everybody is checking in from. All right. All right. What city are you checking in from? I am in the ATL, right smack dab in the ATL, making some things happen. The Juice 6 all the way from Maryland. I don't know what part of Maryland, but Maryland. And it does make a difference. All right, Marlon, Michelle, Dallas. Them flags got people separated. Okay. Dexter, Augusta, GA. All the way from Augusta. All right. St. Boogie from the Shy from Chicago. 9 Ether joining in. All right. Marva Muhammad. I think I met you, Marva, because I think I mentioned to you my sister's name is Marva. There's only a few of y'all in the world. All right. Life, you in Guyana? Okay. We got Cincinnati. We got Raleigh. We got Miami. All right. Who else? I love Ad Block from Nuremberg, Germany. Wow. All right. Construction Site Media TV, all the way from Baltimore. Be more. Got to be more careful. All right. Janice Davis. She just said, period. All right. Marco Ola from Detroit, from the D. All right. All right, family, let's dive into this subject. All right. I'm sure you've heard by now, Captain, now President Ibrahim Traoré from Burkina Faso. All right. There's a massive protest going on as we speak. Millions of people have taken to the street. Not, well, I guess I shouldn't say not, but in protest of, yeah, I should say and can say and should say the bootlicking Negro that's doing the master's bidding that came against Ibrahim Traoré earlier on within the last couple of weeks and let people know or try to misinform people that Ibrahim Traoré is enriching his coffers and the people around him. They call him the junta. Now, this is the language that the white supremacists on a global scale use when they want to refer to a black leader, especially a black leader that is doing for his people, not only in his own country, but other African countries. All right. So be careful of the white supremacist language that's being used. All right. And so let's understand this dynamic and how this whole thing is playing out. So when we talk about Ibrahim Traoré, we're actually talking about a man, all right, who just basically, like many of us would have done, is just basically say, okay, I'm tired of what's going on and seeing what's going on in my country. I'm tired of seeing millions of dollars go out of the country while the people here, my people, are living in abject squalor and poverty. All right, let me see if I can find the article. Hold on. Let me see if I can share that one. If it'll open for me. All right. Resounding ovation with Ibrahim Traoré's reception reveals about youth's reception. Now, mind you, this is young people that's taken to the streets. Young people have taken to the streets, and they are supporting a young 30-something-year-old Ibrahim Traoré, who is now the president after a successful coup. Now, you want to say, okay, well, is that any way to celebrate an African leader after a coup? Yeah, if you understand the history of Upper Volta, and then responsible leaders taking over and restoring a beautiful name to the country, Burkina Faso, all right, changing the language, taking the natural resources back and distributing the natural resources in programs and projects that would benefit the people of Burkina Faso. Before this, the puppet leadership that was in doing France's bidding and United States bidding, and some of them other people, including the jaywalkers bidding, all right, because blood is dripping from their hands also, all right. You would think that the precious minerals that's coming out of the earth, the natural resources, would serve the people of Burkina Faso. Absolutely not. So as I've said months and months and months ago, which a lot of y'all disagreed with me, yes, Ibrahim Traoré and the leader and the president of Mali, Niger, and the few other Sahel states in that particular Sahel region, all right, should look for aid coming from other people that don't look like them. You disagreed with me. And yet again, Professor Griff was correct. Yeah, I would sit down and have talks with Putin. Yes, I would sit down and have talks with China. Yes, I would sit down and have talks with other people, Turkey and other people, South Africa and other people that's willing to come in and give me some instructions. Since I'm only 30-something years old, give me some instructions. Let me know how I can build the country and build the people here in Burkina Faso. And that's exactly what he did. Even though y'all disagreed with me, I told y'all that was the chess move to make. All right? That was the chess move to make. Y'all said, no, we should get in bed with anyone. Stop that, family. Stop that, stop that, stop that, stop that. No. Your brother, Professor Griff, was absolutely correct. I would do business with all of those people, especially China, that know how to build railroads. Until we can build farms, factories, schools, hospitals, and especially schools to educate our people so we can do for self, yeah, we'll do a temporary deal with China. All right? We'll talk to Ghana, Nigeria, and other places that can rent equipment to us so that we can build ourselves. Yeah, we'll talk to Morocco and other places because Burkina Faso is landlocked. Y'all heard me on Brother Rich's program laying this out. Burkina Faso is landlocked. It needs an outlet to the sea. It needs to build a sophisticated airport, and not only an airport, a military to protect the airport. It needs to build nurses and doctors. All right. It needs to control its own natural resources so the resources could benefit the people of Burkina Faso and not the people of France and the United States. And let me throw in there the sneaky hand of them bloodthirsty demons and devils from Canada. If you do the research, all of these people in cahoots. All right? And shame on you Negroes from the Ivory Coast that will plot and plan. Shame on you Negroes from Benin that will plot and plan and help these demons and devils assassinate our brother. All right? So now, I'm going to clear up a few things from a few people that put comments in the post. As a matter of fact, let me put it up. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But right now, let me pull up the Negro. How many times have we as black people, all right, had to suffer through one of our leaders, whether on the continent of Africa or whether they are in South America or any other place on the globe? All right, hold on. I'm getting my notes together because I want to deal with the madness in the way our people think. All right. So we're sick and tired of people like this. General Michael Langley becomes the Marine Corps' first black 4-star general. Now, like generals and other people in the military that was born, bred here and brainwashed here in America, they always use Negroes like this to prop them up, to come be the voice and the face and the spokesman for their devilishment. All right? He's just a hand-picked Negro that they've chosen to represent their wickedness. All right? So the blood won't necessarily be on their hands directly, but it is. But all this Negro did was wake up the lion in Africa, wake up the lion among our Rastafarian brothers, wake up the lion in the Caribbean islands, wake up the lion in the United States and other countries on the continent of Africa. All right. This I don't even know what to call it. I'm trying to refrain from calling this Negro some names because that's the only way I could use this English language, because it's a bastard language, and this is the only language. This is our third language, not our first language. So we just kind of find words to describe Negroes like this. I described him in the thumbnail that I had put up, and some people disagreed with me. Hold on. I'm pulling up the thumbnail on my computer now. Sit tight for a second, fam. Don't go nowhere now. Just sit tight, though. All right. This is what Khalid Abdul Muhammad called him. But let me tell you what I put on the thumbnail. I politely put on the thumbnail Burkina Faso's revolution, freedom or death, and a picture of Thomas Sankara, Ibrahim Traoré, and I put Uncle Michael Langley. What is wrong with that? So some smart ass wanted to come on and be extra intelligent and to let me know, not to say that I'm beyond reproach, because I'm not. I'm open to be taught anything. So some smart ass wanted to come on and let me know, because I called him a certified Uncle Tom, a full-time certified Uncle Tom, and a full-time Negropean, and an Africoon. Someone wanted to come on and explain to me and give Professor Griff. Someone wanted to come on and give Professor Griff this, I guess a history lesson on what a certified Uncle Tom is, or a full-time Negropean or Africoon. All right. So yeah. So I said to myself, okay, we're going to deal with that politely and respectively. All right. And then we're going to get back to the subject. But what we want to do is we want to be able to make sure those that are watching this, all right, don't fall victim to some of these imbeciles, idiots, imps, and simps that come on to try to redirect the conversation into another area. So we'll deal with that madness and then we'll come back. All right. But yes, Burkina Faso needs to be free, independent, a sovereign country, doing for itself. Its gold, its precious minerals need to be for the people of Burkina Faso. And Ibrahim Traoré is seeing to that. All right. Following the footsteps of Thomas Sankara. All right. Following the footsteps of Thomas Sankara, who was assassinated. And yes, the blood of Thomas Sankara is dripping from the hands of France, America, all right, Canada, and other people that are there plundering, all right, the natural resources of Burkina Faso to wax fat, all right. Tons of gold are sitting in vaults in France and in America for them going all around the globe, all right, destabilizing governments and stealing the natural resources of these particular governments. Ibrahim Traoré says, I'm not going for it. Not happening, not on my watch. All right? He said it's not happening on my watch. Okay. Some people said, damn, Griff, you mad? No. Why can't someone speak like a real man and speak up and stand on business without being mad? I'm not mad at this dude. Door of L sending me this message about Sambo was the effeminized male seeking to please his master at every turn. Not Tom. Tom refused to snitch. We must correct the metaphor. No, sir. You need to correct it in your mind. Sambo is the black god. Let's get that straight. Way before they've taken that particular title and put it on what they wanted to put it on, because everything had to filter through colonization, and it had to filter through racism, white supremacy. So let me say this again. Mr. Door of L, go study Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's definition of racism, white supremacy. All right? But since you might not, because you seem like you're a researcher, you seem like you that dude. All right. Okay. Uncle Tom's origins. All right. Uncle Tom's origin. The term Uncle Tom is used pejoratively in the black community to describe someone who is perceived as a traitor to their race, specifically someone who was overly subservient to white people or who betrays black interests for personal gain. However, this modern use of the term, underlining modern use of the term, is a misrepresentation of the original character in Harriet Beecher Stowe's 1852 anti-slavery novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin. We've known that. We've studied that. We've taught that in our classes. All right. Now, the original character was in 1852. But now understand this. Now, guess whose language they were stealing in 1852? Guess whose language and tongues they were cutting out in 1852? Guess who was enslaved and being beaten if we spoke our mother tongue in 1852? Guess whose behavior we saw on the plantation that did not demonstrate to us a beloved character in the black community that was well loved? This Uncle Tom character that you claim didn't snitch. All right. It was the one that they called Tom. And everybody after that we called an Uncle Tom, simply because this individual was the one actually snitching and telling master. This was the house Negro. All right. Let me tell you what Khalid Abdul Muhammad called Uncle Tom Michael Langley, the Negropean. Khalid Muhammad says, when white folks can't defeat you, they'll always find some Negro, some boot-licking, butt-licking, buck-dancing, bamboozled, half-baked, half-fried, punctified, pasteurized, homogenized nigga that they can trot out in front of you, all right, to use that particular individual, all right, to get what they want, And then at the end, they'll neutralize him, and our hatred grows for our own people because it's someone like this, Uncle Tom, that we got to look at destroying our people. That's exactly the behavior of Michael Langley. So when I say Uncle Tom, I'm not going back into Harriet Beecher Stowe, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and then we can talk about Uncle Tom's Cabin. It wasn't one of these kind of positive films for black people. How dare you use that as a reference? Now, the Sambo, in which I said a few minutes ago, the Sambo is the black guy. Oh no. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the Sambo. I think where's the Sambo? Hold on. Whoa, hold on 1 second, fam. Let me see if I can find. I'm sure I can find the Sambo. Sambo is around here. Because I looked at it through the lens of the I looked at it through the lens of the information that we had passed on to our brown brothers in India who won't even recognize us. And when they do recognize us, they consider us the untouchables because they kind of figure they might get some kind of disease or something if they touch our black skin. But the term Sambo has a complex and deeply painful history, especially in the context of race and colonization. Its meaning has shifted, door of L. The meaning has shifted over time and across cultures. But in the American and European context, it has come to be known as a derogatory racial slur used to dehumanize and stereotype black people, especially men, and seeing them as docile, lazy, simple-minded, and childlike. It has been known as that. All right. And then it goes on to lie and say, dealing with the etymological root, it talks about the term Sambo likely originates from the Spanish or Portuguese word Zambo, used during colonial era to describe a person mixed African indigenous ancestry. It may have been, but that's an absolute trick. All right. When you go back and stop operating on branch knowledge, Mr. Dorf L, I had a personal conversation with you on the phone, and I asked you not to do that, to take your research a little bit deeper and stop going on Wikipedia. But since you like Wikipedia, all right, the Sambo actually agrees with Professor Griff. When I studied and put in the whole idea of the Sambo in the Indian culture is the black god, according to Eugene Adams. And it is. It gave me feedback, and it said, Professor Griff, not in those terms, but it said, you're absolutely right. To bring up that distinction, the term Sambo has vastly different meanings depending on the cultural context. And Eugene Adams. Study Eugene Adams, Africans in Asia, all right? In his works on African origins and metaphysics, pointed out to a powerful spiritual lineage behind the name Sambo that predates its racial distortion in the West. Sambo, brothers and sisters, is the black god. Studied Lord Shiva, all right? Then go back and study the Sambo. Studied the Dravidians of South India traditions. Sambo, or the Sambo spelled differently, is a name associated with Lord Shiva, often referred to as Shambo or Sambo, meaning the auspicious one, which here they go lying again, because this is Chat GPT. It actually means the black god, the black one, the dark one, the Lord of Lord, the black of Lord. All right? Do your history, study Eugene Adams, and then cross-reference. Sambo reflects the title of power, elderhood, divine authority, possibly passed through oral tradition. So do me a favor, dude. Stop with the blood clot crying, all right? Mind your manners. Anyway, back to the subject matter. Back to the matter at hand. Boy, Negroes always want to try to be goddamn right about something. Already letting them know you the black god, but you want to give it to somebody else. Yeah, Michael Langley is an Uncle Tom bootlicking, butt-scratching Negro. Negropean. There ain't no other way we can view him in any other kind of way. All right? And if you see him in any old kind of way, that's your problem. All right? Anyway. So now, hold on for a second, fam. Let me put the banner up in case some of y'all want to hit the Cash App and donate. That's $ Professor Griff. Or if you want further, if you want more research after this broadcast, all right, I'm opening up my subscription and membership, all right, for Serious Minds, the Serious Cipher, all right. So every broadcast, you'll be able to automatically get the research material that I lay out, all right. But I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you, fam. Do me a favor. Hold on. Can you scan? You could scan the QR code that's on the page, or you could go to www. I need everyone to write this down, and I'm going to type it in the chat. www.warriors in a garden .org. No spaces. Hold on. warriorsinAgarden.org. All right. If you see public NME, all right. Public N, the letter N, the letter M, and the letter E. That's the page you should be on. Warriors in a Garden. All right. There's a red button right there. Click it. All right. And join. All right. Become a member so I can get all this information to you. So I can give you a discount on the classes that are coming up, especially the firearms class that's coming up. All right. All right. Scan the code or go to www.wiag, Warriors in a Garden. All right. All right. We're going to do a special show about that a little bit later on, how to get people registered in his membership. Let's dive back into this now. All right. So now, family, now that we've taken care of that bit of business, all right, let's get back to the business at hand. Ibrahim Traoré is doing what most African leaders should be doing at this moment right now in history. All right. Let me put the invite in the chat because I do want you to be part of the conversation. All right. The invitation is in the chat. All right. Now, back to what we were saying. Now, if Burkina Faso is landlocked and is a sovereign country that wants its people to be free, all right, and they want to unite with other African countries to build a strong country and then a strong continent to be free. To be free, all right, of these colonial powers that have been ruling and taking the natural resources from every African country that we've ever known. All right? Why wouldn't anyone want to be free? I mean, help me out. Why would you want the natural resources to serve you and your people? All right? So what I did was I looked up all of those individuals that the United States, Great Britain, France, Israel, there's a couple other countries I could mention. South Africa, when it was white, the white South Africa, all the people that they have assassinated. You should have this list also. Hold on. Malcolm X assassinated in 1965. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated. Fred Hampton Jr., Medgar Evers, George Jackson, Robert F. Williams, Huey P. Newton, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, and I can go on and on and on. But who are those African leaders that's sitting on natural resources that not only America needs? Oh, here we go. Somebody sending me nasty text messages already. But it's a beautiful thing. All right? Because the information that I have to send you, all right, you'll be pleasantly shocked and pleasantly surprised that who is at the crux of that taking the natural resources out of the Congo. You know where those natural resources are going. Stop playing with me. So the African leaders that's been assassinated is Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, Amilcar Cabral, all right, Chris Haney, Mahdi bin Bakar. Who else? Samora Michelle, Steve Biko, and we can go on and on and on. Those are the ones that we know about. So every time a black leader or a black man or woman decides to stand up, they either get long prison terms like Nelson Mandela, or they get neutralized like Winnie Mandela. All right? But anytime we want to stand up to do something not only for ourselves, for our people, we find these kind of Negro peons that's being used by white people to stand up and come against our people. So I'm standing in solidarity with all of those individuals that's out right now, millions across this globe that are supporting Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, and all the other black leaders that are standing up, putting things in place for their country, for their people. I'm trying to understand the dynamic. If I buy a brand new bike and my bike can get me to the store and back, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem for everyone else? Why you want to come and let me know I can only ride my bike between 4 and 6 in the afternoon? Y'all sound crazy as hell. That's my damn bike. My mama's mama planted a garden and messed around here and left some golden Easter eggs in the damn ground. And I do an Easter egg hunt, not an Easter leg hunt, but an Easter egg hunt, right? And I find it, and you want to tell me, no, you don't really own that, because, yeah, you can't use that Easter egg to benefit you and your family. I'm like, why not? It's on the land that we own. What are you talking about? And literally, this is what these people are trying to do. All right? So there are people that are supporting Ibrahim Traoré. We're going to get to some of those people in just a moment. But check this out.
Hey there, Breakdown family. Welcome back. So today we're unpacking a major development out of Burkina Faso. one that could have serious implications, not just for the country itself, but for Africa's evolving position in global politics. Just days after surviving a coup attempt, the nation's revolutionary leader, Ibrahim Traoré, has signed a significant new gold mining deal.
Wait a minute. If he is a revolutionary, independent revolutionary leader backed by the people and other leaders of other countries, this is what they fear, family. They fear that this kind of mindset and spirit may reverberate through the African continent and affect that their land right deals with other leaders in other countries that they've paid off and bought. All right? Puppets that they've installed so they can get to the natural resources. So they install an Uncle Tom Negropean, and then they have that Negropean sign land deals with them to take the natural resources of the people. And the natural resources of the people never serve the people. Why is it that there's gold, diamond, uranium, and other things that black people are walking on the earth, that's under the earth in Africa, yet none of the streets are paved? No hospitals, no medicine, no health care, no schools. Why? This is a revolutionary leader that is not going for it. Ibrahim Traoré.
The project is called the Nayu Gold Project, located in the Plateau Central region. And the mining rights have been awarded to Nordgold, a Russian-owned company with a growing footprint across Africa. Now, this deal comes at a critical time, right? Burkina Faso, like many African nations, has been steadily realigning its foreign partnerships, moving away from traditional Western allies and building closer ties with countries like Russia. And after the recent coup attempt, some see moves like this as a part of a broader strategy to secure political and economic stability through new alliances.
That's what it's about. New alliances, getting rid of the old alliances. Well, they really wasn't alliances. There were people coming in, benefiting from the natural resources in Burkina Faso. All right. So throughout the internet, you'll see black people and black leaders listening to Ibrahim Traoré, standing up for Ibrahim Traoré. All right. Then we have, hold on.
And sovereignty and global cooperation. Among the guests was Jasmine Crockett, a United States Congresswoman known for her progressive views and tireless defense of human rights. Traoré sat in his simple office, surrounded by books and documents on sustainable development and public policy. He didn't expect that meeting to turn into something extraordinary.
Jasmine Crockett went on to support Ibrahim Traoré. Millions of people took to the streets today.
The streets of Ouagadougou buzzed with energy. Since the attempted coup that nearly toppled President Ibrahim Traoré, the capital of Burkina Faso seemed to breathe resistance. The news of the attack on his life spread like a trail of gunpowder. But something unexpected happened. Black people around the world decided to respond. In Paris, demonstrators marched through Place de la République, their signs raised like symbolic spears. "Africa rises," they shouted, their voices echoing between the historic buildings of the city. In New York, Layla Johnson, an African-American activist of Ghanaian descent, led a crowd in Harlem. Her eyes sparkled with determination as she held a megaphone. "Today, we are all Burkinabé," she declared, her voice thick with emotion. By her side was Marcus, a South African photographer documenting the movement in real time. He observed everything carefully, capturing every tear, every clenched fist, every face painted with the colors of the Pan-African flag. Meanwhile, in Johannesburg, young student Zanele Mokoena watched live broadcasts of the protests on her phone. She felt a mix of pride and outrage. As a member of an anti-colonial student organization, Zanele had always known the struggle was global, but she never imagined she would see so many people united for an African cause. She decided to organize a local protest, calling on friends and classmates. At the center of it all was Ibrahim Traoré, whose enigmatic figure seemed to transcend borders. Even temporarily confined to a secure location after the failed coup, his words still reverberated. "Africa will no longer be silenced," he had said in a speech before the attack. That phrase became the protesters' mantra. Still, no one knew how he would respond to this global wave of support. As night fell over Ouagadougou, the air grew heavier with expectation. News of the demonstrations reached the president, brought by his loyal advisor, Amadou Diallo. "They are with you, sir," said Amadou, handing him photos of the crowds around the world. Traoré remained silent, his eyes fixed on the images. He knew he needed to respond, but how? The weight of responsibility pressed down on his shoulders, yet it also ignited a flame of hope. The silence of Ibrahim Traoré worried many. To the protesters, his public absence was a sign of weakness or indecision. In Paris, Lila Johnson began to feel the pressure. "Why hasn't he said anything?" she asked during a meeting with other activists. "We need a word of encouragement, something that unites us even more." Her frustration was evident, but
France occupied Burkina Faso for generations. They stole gold and uranium.
Now, this is white people are standing with Ibrahim Traoré. White people, young white people are starting to understand the tricks of their fathers' fathers' fathers. And they know that Africa is rising. And those Negroes in America that keep wanting to disrespect Africans, all right, and not understand the position that we need to take with our people, not only in America, but the Black African diaspora. Yeah, I'll take one of those, son. Hold on.
Billions of dollars of resources for pennies on the dollar,
Wow.
while the people of Burkina Faso suffered. But Burkina Faso's new revolutionary leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, says no more. Traoré has kicked out all of the French troops from his country in Africa. He has banned exports of gold to Paris, and he has dropped French as the official language of Burkina Faso. It's a total cultural, political, and economic reset. Now, obviously, French President Emmanuel Macron is kind of upset with all of this. He has made his position known. And President Traoré beautifully responded. He said, "If anyone is ungrateful, it is him, Emmanuel Macron. France exists today thanks to our ancestors. They should pray for us." And Burkina Faso is making it clear that this is not about some attack on France. This is about independence and sovereignty. Just last week, Burkina Faso's President Traoré decided to release 4 French spies who were guilty of attempting to commit a coup against the president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, in 2022. The message is clear. Burkina Faso is not the pawn of France or the Dutch or the United States anymore. But forgiveness is also at the heart of their revolution. Traoré says that this is not just a split, it is a revolution with global ripples.
Wake up, 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 wake up.
Mumbi, she's always on it.
Wake up, Africa.
Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki, and I am so happy to report that Africa is definitely, most definitely awake. And we've seen it in the events that have taken place these last few weeks when
Africa is awake. Africa is alive and waking up. All right. So I'm just sending this out as my FBA brothers and sisters. Press the pause button for a minute and rethink your approach and your strategy. I understand your intent, but I think the way you're going about what you're trying to achieve is slightly skewed. All right. We are a global people. All right. A lot of people say, well, I'm not African. Wow. Because I was here before Africa. Fine. Well, that's cool. Well, you may say you're not African, but Africa is in you. And whatever the place was called before that is in you. It's not about a land mass. It's about the spirit of the people. All right. It's about the spirit and the energy that's coming from that particular region of the world and that area. All right. And everything that it encompasses and whatever it's set in motion. All right. And it set a beautiful thing in motion because the creator deposited those things in us. Now it depends on how you go back into the self, the journey of the self through the self, back to the self in order to activate it. So you can become one with your people. All right. Those of us that know the history, yeah, some of us were kidnapped and brought not only here, but to Brazil, to the Caribbean islands, to other places around the globe. Home to support our brother Ibrahim Traoré, and we will stand with him. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Do your thing.
We were shocked to see the general of the U.S. Army or whatever he is. You can see him here, and they always use one of us. They always use one of us, family. Come before some committee or some Senate or whatever and declare that our global African hero, the man of the moment, the leader of the moment, Ibrahim Traoré, is corrupt because he's using the gold of his country to protect himself. And I think he even suggested that the divided states should remove him from power for being corrupt, family. And the backlash has been insane across the world. In fact, if you're watching this on Patreon tomorrow, and if you're watching this on YouTube today, is the day where, for the first time, I've never actually heard of this happening in my lifetime, there is going to be a global demonstration by African people around the world.
This reminds me of the energy that was surrounding the Million Man March when the Million Man March happened. 2 million people showed up and was like, look, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. The globe heard what Uncle Michael Langley said, and that feeling came up in us, and we just said, you know something, now enough is enough. Obviously, this man is not a criminal. Obviously, this man is doing what he needs to do for his country. So for you to basically say he's a strong man and he's using his gold to support and protect himself and his hunter, stop that. You're trying to set the man up for assassination.
Where they will be visiting the French embassy, because a lot of people feel that this idea actually came from Macron. And, because Macron has been kicked out, he's been kicked out of Niger as well, and Mali as well. He's not doing too well. I think even Senegal is thinking of kicking him out. That this might have been a suggestion that he gave the divided states, with the divided states now wanting to come in and, sort out the French business. And it was disgusting to hear Macron just letting that plane go by. And just recently, family, Macron actually had the audacity to go on live TV and try and tell his people that the reason France cannot leave Africa right now is because Africa is not ready to rule itself. Instead of being truthful and saying what one of the previous presidents had said, the day France stops exploiting the African nations it's exploiting, they will immediately become a third world country. But anyway.
Woo! The day that France and other countries stop exploiting Africa, that's the day that France becomes a third world country. That's the day they become a third world country. Wow. 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 We must come back to ourselves. We must recognize, like I tried to get y'all to understand and do some history about what was going down in Gaza. All right. But you had no empathy. You had no sympathy. You started talking about the few little Palestinians that you know that own the corner store somewhere, and you judge all Palestinians based on that. All right. King Simon, my brother, what's good with you, man?
I'm still in New York, brother. How you doing, brother? You all right?
I'm maintaining, man. Maintaining. Hold on, let me turn my thing down right here. What's happening with you?
They're trying to rob my man in Burkina Faso, man. You know, and he's in that cycle that he has to be between this year going into next year, according to his numbers, man. He got to be very careful of the people, you know, the energy vampires around him, and look like he's been doing a good job picking them out because he's very intuitive. He's born March the 14th, so he's already very intuitive as a water energy. And now he's in an 8 personal year cycle going into a 9, so he has to be very careful in this detoxification cycle that he's in, because numbers pay attention to cycles, patterns, sequences, probabilities, statistics, possibilities. So he has to be very careful on the negative, but on the positive, if he stay in tune and keep the right people around him that he could trust, that will always be able to point it out so they can recognize these coup activities, he'll be all right if he can just get past these next couple of years. He'll be all right.
That's a beautiful observation, and not a lot of people are doing observing this thing from
metaphysics
with numerology and that thing. You understand what I'm saying? They're not looking at it through that lens, so to speak.
Yeah. Because he's in a powerful cycle. He's in a powerful cycle, but of wealth and all that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, everybody likes to talk about the good parts and the positive of numbers, but they don't look at the trauma and the negative that the numbers can attract just because he's in leadership. It is what it is.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Because I think we watch the news and we put we know it's propaganda. We know it's a script. We know they're actors, but some of us still watch the news and believe it. So when the general came on and made those statements, I instantly said, I'm like, who is he talking about? He's not talking about Ibrahim Traoré, because I've been studying that for a minute because I was just on Brother Rich's show with it. Exactly.
And
the brother is building his country and building his people.
And you know, that's what they did with Gaddafi. That's what they did with Idi Amin. That's what they did with everybody, man. You know, Khalid used to teach that back in our FOI class about how you know, United States is a military, it's a corporation. So they'll throw a stone over here, which is the propaganda, when they're trying to do something over there on the other side. We know how this works, brother. You know,
right.
You know, but I appreciate you, man.
No, I appreciate you, because when they laid out when that general came on, I said, this is the same script, man. The same plan. You could study Gaddafi's history and what they did. Same thing, Patrice Lumumba. I mean, I could go on and on.
You remember what Dr. Africa used to say? You only have to study the white man once because he likes to repeat history. You know exactly what he do.
But this time it backfired on him because it's not working, bro.
Exactly.
That dude, that Uncle Tom, that Negro peon woke up a lion. This lion is roaring, man.
I love it. And he's an intuitive lion. That means hopefully, and I believe so, by looking at him and looking the way he's moving, that's the same thing Castro did. He was able to tap in and use his Santeria of Cuba, because people don't know he had my family's from Cuba, and my great grandfather on my father's side, one of my grandfathers on my father's side, he was one of the chefs for Castro during the revolution.
Oh wow!
So, the magic they was using, and my grandfather's as dark as me now, mind you, he's my complexion. the magic they was using back in the day, and he survived what 5, 6 presidents until he transitioned.
Right.
He was you, and I believe that brother Ibrahim, not only is he using Islam, but he's using traditional African power, African science also to keep him guarded. Yeah.
And that's the other quiet thing that they're not mentioning.
Yes.
They want to pigeonhole him as just being just a black African leader, but he's Muslim.
Exactly.
And he studied other traditions. And I don't understand. I do understand. Let me not say I don't understand. I understand their strategy, bro, but it's hard to convey it to our people to understand the strategy.
You know, those who's supposed to get it will get it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all.
Right.
That's how we. You know, that's it. That's how we got. We don't have no time to convince nobody no more, Griff. We've been in it too long.
Right.
Those who get it, and I had Professor Smalls on last night with me on my channel on King Simon Presents. He said, he's all right with the young people who don't get it now. They gonna get it later. But they're going to get it. We all going to get it. Even if we come back and have to do this again, we going to get it. We're going to get it.
Yeah, you're right. You absolutely
all right.
Right.
All right, beloved man. I was just watching the two, and then let me come in, you know.
Brother, give thanks, good bro.
Thank you for sending the video. I sent it out. I posted it on my thing, but I'm going to share it and start playing it on my show probably when I get back in. I'm coming back this week, so I'll deal with that. All right.
Cool. All right.
All right. Peace and love, man. Peace.
Peace. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let me stop saying I don't understand why black people in America don't understand the moves that leaders have to make on a global scale. We had a saying, all those that know. And I think I need to kind of go back to that. Yeah, I need to go back to that and get people, like all those that know. Some people are going to get it now. Some people will get it later, and then some people will never get it. They just won't get it. All right. Okay. So let me open this up and read your comments, and then dive back into. I will be coming on a little bit later on because most of what was said about Ibrahim Traoré has been said on at least 50 channels so far that I've studied. And this is the energy that's going to build because the brother needs to be protected. And then why do you always think instinctively we need to protect the brother? Because y'all already know the people that we're living among are murderers. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. All right, let me look at some of y'all's comments. Michelle said, Crockett is crooked as they comes. Or you should say they come. Puppet at best. She is not. Okay, so you're saying about Jasmine Crockett for what reason? Because she made a comment about Ibrahim Traoré, Michelle? Talk black to me, Michelle. I'm here. All right? I'm here, Michelle. Who else? He is doing globally what civil rights didn't finish in the United States. What he is doing is a global impact, indeed. Thank you, Lorana Hughes. Who else? That's right. Marcus Garvey said Africa for the Africans, at home and abroad. All right. Shout out to King Simon. Thank you very much for coming on. Who else? Shogun 76. You can ask whatever it is you want to ask. What do I think about Idi Amin? Well, that's probably for another show, but I'll definitely tell you what I think about Idi Amin. All right. But right now we're focusing on Ibrahim Traoré and Burkina Faso. All right. Bob Marley said, as Shogun 76 says, like Bob Marley said, song says, Africa unite. All right. Africa unite. That doesn't only mean the people there living on the continent right now. That means us also. Unite with our African brothers here and abroad. General Louverture says that brother is the one. Okay. Janice Davis, we need to still be in unity. Okay. Yeah, Lioness Ma. I think because social media now has given the average person a voice. If you have a cell phone, yeah, you and that cell phone becomes now an independent station, an independent media source. All right. You become the independent media source. All right. Okay. So it's counteracting. It's counteracting all of the news that's being put out that's false. The mere fact that the general is so damn ignorant and made the statement and flew off to the Ivory Coast. And that doesn't signal they're trying to destabilize the Burkina Faso. You fly into a country that's right next door to Burkina Faso. And they've already ran plotters and traitors, already ran them back into the Ivory Coast. Yeah. I don't think, yeah, you're right. Nymphology, you're absolutely right. Black people in America don't understand the magnitude of this particular thing and how it's playing out on a global scale. All right. And it's playing out on a global scale. But because we're not a global people, and we are, we just don't think globally. We think in terms of just ourselves. All right. Knowing that if we had our independent 5 to 10 independent states here in America, we still would have to do business with Africa for the natural resources. All right. Okay. So let's understand this dynamic. I'm going to put the invitation back in the chat in case anyone wants to come on. All right. Let me see. Hold on. I think I can get away with it like this. I think I can. Yes. All right. I'm trying to operate Instagram and navigate YouTube and Facebook all at the same time, fam. So bear with me. Michelle said the children of the sun are rising. Yes, indeed, Michelle. So all those old people talk about black people ain't gonna never do nothing. We ain't never gonna come together. We ain't never gonna be free. Well, Ibrahim Traoré is 30 years old, so obviously he studied Malcolm. Obviously, he studied ministers from the nation. Obviously, he studied the Black Panther Party. Obviously, he studied Winnie Mandela. Obviously, he studied revolutionary movements across the globe. Obviously, he studied some of the Muslim revolutionaries throughout history. All right. So as Africa rises, the mindset of black people in America, Africans, should rise also. All right. Now, already, I'm going to just let y'all know, already I had to block about 5 people. Now, we don't know if they're trolls, agents, or whatever. But you have to take into account anytime a man like Ibrahim Traoré stands up, you're going to get that kind of opposition. All right? So where is the revolution being fought? It might be a digital revolution being fought right now. It might be one revolution that's being fought in the hearts and for the hearts and the minds of our people. The revolution may be going on in your head right now. Revolution is complete, constructive, conscious, cosmic change. All right? So the revolution is happening right now. You need to decide whether or not you're going to roll with the slave masters' children who've been colonizing us, wanting us to be poor, wanting us to be subservient to them while they control all the natural resources on the planet. Y'all heard Charles Schwab when he came and he said, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Punisher said, Marcus Garvey said, back to Africa. What did Marcus Garvey mean, Punisher? Because I think you taking that on face value. What did Marcus Garvey mean? Because couple that with Marcus Garvey said Africa is for Africa, home and abroad. What does that mean? It mean everybody pack up a goddamn knapsack and get a tuna fish sandwich and go back to Africa? I'm going to say this, and I hope it don't spark too much backlash, but we were here before Africa was Africa. Like, damn, Griff. Yeah. We were in Africa before Africa was Africa. Before you get angry and start using your crusty ass fingers to type on your keyboard something nasty to say to me, think about it. All right, we only got a few more minutes. I came on at 1:15, so I'm going to check out here at 1:15. All right. Let me see if I could view my request here. Got a request on Instagram, fam. So everybody on Facebook and YouTube, y'all won't be able to see this. Would like to know more about Jasmine Crockett. Cece wants to know. Yeah, you got to study Jasmine Crockett with a different kind of mind. I don't think Jasmine Crockett is crooked, corrupt, or whatever, because if she was, you know, them crackers would have figured that out by now. Oh, damn. Let me watch my tone. You know, them people in Congress would have figured that out by now. And they would have brought her up on some kind of charges already. So I don't know about all that. All right. Kenneth P. McCormick, I'm right behind you. I'm 64, and I'm there, right with you, bro. All right. Some of y'all told me a few minutes ago, and don't try to hide now. All right. Some of y'all told me a few minutes ago, protesting don't mean anything anymore. Protesting doesn't garner any energy. Protesting doesn't yield any results. Are you rethinking that? Anytime 1 million people can come out on the streets, yeah, it kind of means something. If nothing else, to those of us that know and understand military strategy, yeah, you know that 1 million people are listening and tuned in. All right. If nothing else, but deeper than that, we'll talk about it some other time. All right. All right, family. Once again, today is the rally and a protest, and they're protesting Negroes like Uncle Michael Langley, caping for the United States government and France and other people. These people actually kind of let us know what their plan is for Ibrahim Traoré. All right. And we don't understand their plan. And now that 1 million people have taken to the streets, the world, the globe gets it, especially our brothers and sisters on the African continent. We're going to stand with them. We're going to come back to ourselves, and we're going to raise our voices along with our fists. And we're just simply going to say, hands off Ibrahim Traoré and anyone like him on the African continent that stands up and wants to do for their people. All right. This is Professor Griff. I'm out of here. Love y'all to life. Thank y'all very much for sitting with me for this painful 1 hour that I've been on here. Because, yeah, some people do have to get checked on here with the madness that they try to put out there before the world. All right? Do me a favor. Don't come at me with branch knowledge. If you're going to go to the root, and let's dialogue. All right? Once again, my phone number is 678-557-2919. The Mother's Day weekend Guns and Roses class is happening, the firearms class. If you want to join, please let me put the QR code back up for you to scan. Scan the QR code. Go to www.warriorsinAgarden.org. www.warriorsinAgarden.org. All right. Become a member. All the information that's on this broadcast and every broadcast, every podcast after this, you'll automatically, within 24 hours, get the information. I'll make sure I get it out to you once you sign up and become a member. All right. Well, yep, we do have to put our nickels and dimes together to make some things happen. All right. Once again, hold on for a second. Let me see whether or not if I gotta refresh that QR code. Let me make sure the QR code is working. Let me see. Don't go nowhere yet, fam. It should take you to the Public Enemy website, right? The Warriors in a Garden. All right. Right at the top of the page. Right at the top of the page, you can hit. Hold on. You can hit the red button. All right. And you can join. All right. You could become a member. Now, let's see if we can take this information and pass it on to 3 other people. Let's see what's today. Wednesday. Let's see if by Friday we can get 100 people to become members. All right. I'm going to put it in the chat and promise you I'm signing out after this, family. www.warriorsinAgarden.org. Can y'all write that down? Pass it on to 3 other people. 100 people by the time I come on Friday in the afternoon. All right? Let's see if we can do that. I'm back. I got a spiritual outlook on it. All right. It's a beautiful thing. Marlon Mitchell, we'll talk about it on Friday. All right? Friday, I'm just doing an open broadcast. I just want to politic. I want to vibe with you. I just want to have a serious cipher. All right? Getting 100 people as members, and we're going to make it happen. Warriors in a Garden. Warriors, soldiers, healers that are in the community. All right? Take your rightful place in the community. All right? Unite with other people in your community where you are. Stand up and let our voices be heard. All right? We make our way around the country. We want to be outside for real. All right, it's Professor Griff. Love y'all to life. Peace, fam. Greetings, family. This is Professor Griff, and this is the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. The Serious Minds Brain Tonic was created to sharpen the mind by protecting the cells and increasing the neurotransmitters associated with learning and memory. You can order the Serious Minds Brain Tonic right here on www.debbiestrywellness.com and or text me 678-557-2919. Peace.
Tap into the sounds that heal and words that awaken. Soul Own Collective brings both. Their music is a vessel, a sacred offering of rhythm, affirmations, and spirit. Listen and download at professorgriff.bandcamp.com to invite Soul Own Collective to your